it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk, my friends. The FV201A45 here on Himmels and Skdorf. Spawned into the... Alright, there we go. Pause. Spawned into the north, going into the Heavy Brawl area. We're going to talk today about the platitude where people say, if you're overextended or things are bad, then get out of there. Like, fall back, right? Don't get trapped. Don't overextend. And those are all great words and very true. The problem is, a lot of times people don't really understand. Come here, Mike. What are you doing over there? People don't really understand when that might be or what it looks like. So we're going to talk about it here. I have a situation with the old A45 on bottom tier, 2-tier battle. Taking a look at the setup, we're really kind of hurting right off the bat. All right, just purely by matchmaker and top tanks. Now, of course, you got to bring the player in. You got to see how the battle develops. You got to see if people get lucky or unlucky. All those things that happen during the match that determines whether it's a W or an L. But you can look at this and assume some things. Holy cow! We have a 112, a 65T, and a TNH 105. Okay. Only problem with that is they have a 703-2 122, a K2, and a Skoda T56. That. So as soon as I spawned in on this and I said, all right, I'm going to try to get into the heavy brawling area, see what I can do, be careful, which is the mantra, right? Early on, be careful, but be effective in terms of being aggressive enough and careful enough that you both do damage, assist, etc., depending on the map, the mode, the tank, etc., and you stay alive, right? We don't want to rush out, do 1800, die first, and then have the team lose because you're not around towards the end of the game to do anything about the mid to late game. I was just kind of curious if you could actually knock those down. I don't know. Anybody know? I don't think so, but that would be cool. All right, so let's do a little checkpoint here initially. How are we doing? Oh, boy. Oh, boy. The 112 went over to the field, so right off the bat, one of our heavies is not there, and that may or may not be a good thing. It depends on where they go, so we have to pay attention to where the 703 K2 and Skoda T56 show up. Obviously, the Black Prince, the T29, other heavies, even the G-Sor, but we'll watch that as we go. But initially, not great that one of our heavies, albeit a pref heavy, wandered out to the field. All right, so let's see how we do with that. It's only myself, the TNH, and I'm looking at this, and I'm feeling like our team doesn't really want to go very far forward. So those two things, my team being a little bit what it seems to be anyway, trepidatious, and our 112, one of our top tier heavies, going to a poor place for him, could be a great place. I don't know. And I'm not seeing the Viper move, the Vipera. So there's a lot of things already crowding into the brain pan here saying, dude, be careful because this is not looking great. So we're going to come here. I know that there's a little spot here. This is a bit dangerous. I wanted to knock that thing out of the way. See if I can get some nice little cheesy shots. All right, great. I shot the K2. All right, so the K2 and the Black Prince have showed up, and the K2 is hell-bent on being aggressive. Now, it could be that the other team has looked at this and went, or at least in the case of the K2, we've got a serious advantage on the heavy side. If we can get aggressive with them here in the heavy area, shut down some of their tanks, then we'll be doing a nice job, right? We'll be doing a good thing for the team. We'll be starting the steamroll. We'll be pushing the snowball down the hill as it gathers steam. Or maybe he's just a YOLO artist, right? All possibilities right here. But let's see how this thing develops. I'm going to take a shot at him, and I actually eat a shot back, so that's not great. I've already poorly traded. I've lost some hit points and done none. Oh, boy. Skoda T56, 703-2, a T44 showed up, the Black Prince, and a K2. And our 105 is half hit points. I've taken a hit. We've done nothing. And the rest of our guys are back here. Oh, golly. The Vipera is now moving, and he's going out to the field. Okay. All indicators. I said we would look at it and talk about the things that might let you know you're kind of in trouble and you may need to be very careful and fall back, and these be them. All right, you're looking at it now. It could be that the field push, because it looks like it's not opposed very well by the enemy team, So we might get some work out of them if they show up around behind these guys. But if we're all dead, if they completely steamroll us, that valley push, it's kind of like a valley push. That field push doesn't do us a whole lot of good, right? If we lose everything in the city before the field push gets something done, then their big flanking maneuver doesn't help. So in order for that to develop and to help us, we have to stay alive. So all of a sudden, just the initial look, the deployment, where our tanks are going, how this is developing, and I'm starting to really feel like I'm going to have to do a lot of fallback and run away if I can. Not really the best tank for it, guys. It's not a very fast tank. Good news, though, is that this is a city. It has a lot of corners and places to get away from, so falling back is a player here. There are other maps where you get this far forward and run into a force like this. You don't really have a good place to run back to. So, but this is where we are today on Ensk. Now, I thought about running away right there, but I need to make them pay a little bit for coming in, and it looks like maybe they're slowing down. Now, this was helpful that the 100M1 and the 65T finally kind of got up here and started showing the flag, giving them a little bit of pause on pushing in here, which allows me to go, okay, the 703 is shooting. Let's see if I can side scrape and start putting this little alpha gun into work here. So, oh darn, that's a bummer. All right, it's fine. Look how fast this thing reloads. One thing about tanks like this one, it's got a really bad little alpha on it. And it shoots fast. So good news, it shoots fast. Bad news, it has bad alphas. Oftentimes people will sort of ignore it or just accept a shot from it because they think they're going to do a good trade or they're busy firing at somebody else. And so I'm able to kind of carve some points off this guy, but I decided it is unwise to challenge the Skoda T56 right there. So we'll back out. We got a little bit of our trade back into the win column or into the green here for us. 429 damage, and I've only taken 159, so that works. Now I'm seeing the Black Prince come around. It is interesting with a tank like this with the low alpha guns. Like I said, oftentimes the enemy team will sort of ignore it, and oftentimes that ignoring it will be at their detriment. So we'll get a shot off of him. I knew he was coming. Very good, or at least I suspected he was. So they'll kind of allow you to get a couple shots in there, and even though you're still not dropping 300 or 240 or something, after 3 or 4 shots, they know you're there. Now the good news is the guys out in the field are taking care of business to some extent, not too bad, but we did lose the 112 in Vipera, and now we just lost the 100 M1, which is a good tank, but check out what we've done to them. A lot of their little tanks, G-Sword is a good kill, their Artie is gone, but it's this heavy brawl area that is still a concern. We just don't want them, and we're starting to lose hit points and get whittled down over here, although we are doing a little bit of damage to them. But look at that K2. He's hard to damage at tier 8, especially with tier 7s in there. There's also a 703-2 in there somewhere, but we can maybe expect some of them to start peeling out of here and trying to go back and deal with the guys in the field. So all that's going through my mind, thinking, okay, all right, so we'll see how this goes, but it's not looking good. I'm not liking it very much, and I'm starting to see the big boys come in, and the enemy team's sort of figuring out they need to get in here, and all of a sudden I lose a couple key players in there, and I'll be honest, I am leaving the 65T and the SU out to dry a little bit, but I don't really want to be sitting in this open road when all that stuff comes around the corner, right? So I'm looking for the next cover, and that's part of the fall back thing. That's the platitude is, hey, just fall back. The question is how and where, and these are the kind of examples right here of what you want to do. So I'm going to keep backing out, although I do come back in here because I'm going to get some shots of opportunity here. Sneak one on him, we'll back out, and fantastic. We're up to 777, and now I'm kind of reassessing what's going on. I knew that obviously the Black Prince was right there. He takes some big hits from our guys in the corner. We have a bit of a crossfire here. It's hard to come out of this middle area and poke into the middle here and not get thumped by guys that are along the road. But they've got a lot of capability to kind of come around from different directions. If I can peel out the Black Prince, then there's one of the angles that's removed right there. And he may be actually looking at me. I might have been able to get into that little opening right there, but I didn't really investigate that very much. So we'll just come around this way. He saw me a little bit too late, kind of realized what was going on. And now I'm going to push in here. Maybe T-44 misses. I'm looking for maybe a shot, and then there's just too many guys. Little shot of opportunity. Did not really expect the Cheeto to be there, but they're also seeing that they own this now, right? So they've killed the 152. The AMX 65T is surrounded, right? He's overextended. We did win, or we're starting to win the field, and right now I'm thinking, well, I don't need to wade into this. I can't take all that on. I can't take on a 703, a Skoda T56, a 44, and a K2. We need to potentially, hopefully, whittle these guys down a little bit. And unfortunately, the 65T, we've got to leave him out to dry. Maybe he can take a couple shots off these guys. That'd be fantastic. I see the Cheeto SP coming back. That's a decent amount of firepower for a Tier 7. And now we're looking to just hold this. And I'm looking at the field going, all right, guys, I need you to close out that ISU and get in here and help us out. All right, K2 pushes across. He's not paying attention to me. I get a shot. Kills off the GW Panther. And we're able to use this fast-firing, annoying gun, and we shut down the K2, which is extremely helpful. And now we're looking at there's only 3 of them alive. Still, though, this is a pretty good force. We do have 2 Burrs, and they've been doing good work, by the way. One's got 5 kills, one's got 3, so fantastic job over in the field. That's what we needed the field to do. It would have been nice if they'd have done that a little faster, because they really were taking on some of the lower-level stuff over there, other than the GSOR and the ISU, which obviously hit really hard. We lost the 112 really quick, and we lost the Viperia really quick. They didn't do a whole bunch over there, but the Borasks and the rest of them did a nice job. This LHMTV as well is going to come in here and make a difference, so good on those guys. This is not a case, as I try to say most of the time, not a case of me saying that I did everything on this side of the map. That simply isn't true. The rest of the team has a vote, does things, and when they play well on the other flank, that's really good for your team. So we've got to try to shut these 2 guys down. We got some Tier 8s going on. And now I feel like I can move in. I don't want the Cheeto to get overwhelmed and disintegrated. It is helpful, though, that the Skoda is way back here. So he bailed on these guys. So now we've got a bit of an overmatch here. LHMTV is coming in. The Cheeto SP puts a nice hit. Artie's jumping in and doing its thing. This is going to allow me to come in here and close this guy out. We put 1 shot. There's that low alpha. That's unfortunate. We shoot him. He doesn't quite get a shot off on me. Chasing the T44. Thought I might get the shot on him. I'm going to miss. Oh, it just gets away. LHMTV shuts him down, and now we got to go track down the Skoda. And honestly, the Skoda is at near 100%. This is still, honestly, this game is still up in the air. Yes, if we can get all of our guns together, we should be able to crush this Skoda. But if he shuts down the Borask before we can get there, we could find ourselves in some trouble here. And the Borask does a really nice job. It is the guy with the 5 kills. So he does a nice job keeping himself alive. He doesn't YOLO in there. He's baiting this guy, trying to stay away. He's trying to build time for us to get there. And honestly, I hope that he's actually doing that on purpose. But even if all he's doing is attempting to stay alive, that's enough, right? But based on how well he did, I really think that he was trying to buy us time and him time. He's probably trying to reload. And notice how the Skoda's just sort of ignoring me. He's probably on a reload himself, to be honest. LHMTV is being super annoying. I like that kind of gameplay in a light tank. It's a great way to do it. He's got that thing 2 marked. The Skoda probably feels like he has to push the Burr to try to get him. The Burr tracks him. Oh, that was fantastic. Nicely done. And then we just gang tackle this guy. And that is the end of that. The Borask actually ate 1 shot, but really nicely played by the entire team right there. I thought that was a great example, fellas, of the whole idea, the platitude of don't allow yourself to get trapped. Try to leave yourself an out. Great words, true words. It's a great way to turn close games into wins, or even things that's starting to look like losses into wins. If you watch some of the very best players out there, you'll see this kind of gameplay constantly. They're going to pull rabbits out of the hat that you could not believe, but pay attention to the early to mid game of what they're doing, because generally they're conserving their hit points and getting out of bad situations, and they may spend a lot of time moving backwards, but they're grabbing hit points, making good trades, lasting to the late game where they can make a difference, kind of like we did right here. So you see how that works. Tight map, relatively easy to fall back, but it's always instructive to see a good example of what that means. Not getting overextended, maintaining your hit points, trying to make good trades, falling back when required, and then gang tackling people who overextend. That's all I've got for today. Let me know what you think down below. We will see ya.